Adanna lived with her stepmother. Her real mother was gone. Her stepmother never smiled at her, not even once. "You're useless," her stepmother said every morning. "No one will marry you." Adanna cleaned the floors, cooked the meals, washed the clothes. Nothing made her stepmother happy. One day, Adanna's friend Ada came running. "Come with us to the city," Ada begged. "Just for one weekend. You deserve fun." Adanna looked down. "My stepmother won't allow it." Ada shook her head. "She never lets you live. Come on, just this once." Adanna wanted to say no, but she felt brave. For once, she felt brave. That night, she asked her stepmother gently, "Mama, may I go to the city with Ada?" Her stepmother laughed harshly. "You? City? Look at yourself. You'll embarrass me." Adanna bowed her head. Her stepmother continued, "Go then, and don't come back crying." In the city, everything felt different. Adanna danced and laughed. The palm wine made her forget the pain. She felt happy, even for one night. When she stepped outside for fresh air, she saw a man standing quietly alone. He had kind eyes. She felt drawn to him. "Are you all right?" she asked softly. He looked at her and smiled gently. "I should ask you the same." They talked. He listened. For once someone listened. Her heart felt warm. Later that night, they sat quietly under the stars. She spoke without fear. "I have no mother," she whispered. "Only a stepmother who hates me." He touched her hand softly. "You deserve better." She stayed with him that night. For the first time, she felt safe. She never asked his name. He never asked hers. The next morning, she woke up afraid. What had she done? She hurried home, her heart heavy. When she returned, her stepmother sneered. "Look at you, eyes full of shame. Just like your mother." Adanna said nothing. She went to her room, quiet tears running down her cheeks. Days later, Ikenna came to their home. He was rich. People respected him. Her stepmother smiled brightly. "Welcome, sir. Adanna, come quickly." Ikenna barely looked at her. "I want to marry your daughter," he announced. His voice was flat, cold. Her stepmother clapped her hands loudly. "At last, someone wants you. Don't mess this up." Adanna stood quietly. Her stepmother whispered angrily in her ear. "Say yes quickly. Don't ruin this chance." "Yes," Adanna whispered, though her heart screamed no. As the wedding day drew near, she could not forget that quiet night. She dreamed of the stranger, of the kindness in his eyes. She knew something was coming, something that would change her life forever, something her stepmother's harsh words could never control. The village buzzed with excitement. Everyone smiled, everyone except Adanna. Her stepmother invited neighbors inside their house. "Come and see. My daughter is marrying a rich man," she boasted. Adanna stood quietly, forcing a smile. Her stepmother pinched her secretly. "Smile brighter, girl. Don't embarrass me." "Yes, Mama," Adanna whispered softly. At night, alone in her room, Adanna stared into darkness. She remembered the kind stranger she met in the city. She missed the warmth of his gentle words. Suddenly, Adanna felt sick. Her head spun, and her stomach twisted. She placed her hand on her belly, confused. "No," she whispered fearfully. "Please, no." Days passed. Adanna felt weaker. Every morning brought sickness. Deep inside, she already knew. "I must hide this," she told herself. "If anyone finds out, it'll ruin everything." One evening, as Adanna folded clothes, her stepmother appeared suddenly. She watched Adanna sharply. "You're slower than usual," she said suspiciously. "What's wrong with you?" "Nothing, Mama." Adanna answered quickly. Her stepmother moved closer, eyes narrow with distrust. You look different. Sick. Are you hiding something? Adanna shook her head. No, Mama. You better not embarrass me. Her stepmother warned bitterly. If I find out you're lying, you'll regret it. The next day, Ikenna arrived. He brought gifts, but his face showed no joy. He pointed to Adanna sharply. Why are you wearing this dress? He asked angrily. I don't like it. Change immediately. Adanna's heart sank. I thought it was beautiful. You don't think. You obey. Ikenna snapped coldly. Adanna hurried to change. Fear filled her heart. This is the man my stepmother chose, she whispered sadly. He is rich, respected, but cold. Is this my future? One afternoon, Ikenna spoke to her again. His voice was calm, but his eyes were hard. After marriage, you'll stop teaching, he announced, flatly. Adanna felt shock. But teaching is my life. Your life? Ikenna laughed bitterly. Your life is mine now. Remember your place. Adanna nodded quietly. Yes, Ikenna. She walked home slowly, heart heavy. Maybe my stepmother was right. Maybe this is what I deserve. As the wedding day drew closer, whispers filled the village. People watched Adanna strangely. Women talked behind hands, laughing quietly. One evening, Ada, her closest friend, ran towards her. Adanna, she whispered urgently, eyes full of fear. They're talking about you. Adanna felt panic. What are they saying? They say you met a strange man in the city, Ada explained quickly. Someone saw you. Now the whole village talks. Adanna felt weak. Who saw me? Who would betray me? Ada shook her head sadly. Be careful. Your stepmother hears everything. Adanna hurried home. Her heart raced with fear. As soon as she entered the house, her stepmother stood waiting. Her face was filled with rage. Is it true? She shouted angrily. Tell me now, is it true? What, Mama? Adanna asked nervously. You met a man in the city! Her stepmother shouted louder. You betrayed me! No, Mama! Adanna started. Her stepmother slapped her hard. Liar! How dare you shame me! Adanna held her cheek, tears filling her eyes. Mama, please! You listen. Her stepmother hissed angrily. You keep your mouth shut. The wedding must happen. If you ruin this, you'll pay dearly. Adanna nodded silently, eyes lowered. That night, alone in her room, Adanna cried softly. She touched her belly, afraid. I have no choice, she whispered to herself. I must marry Ikenna. It's my duty. The village women came the next day, smiling widely, carrying colorful clothes and beautiful beads. Wear this, Adanna. They sang happily. Your husband will love it. Adanna wore their gifts without smiling. Her stepmother watched carefully, pretending pride. My daughter is lucky, she announced loudly. Rich men marry good. Girls. The women nodded, but secretly they whispered more stories. That night, Adanna felt alone. She sat on her bed, holding her head sadly. This secret will kill me, she whispered softly. How long can I hide? Suddenly, someone knocked gently on her window. Adanna jumped, startled. It was Ada again, eyes worried. Adanna, I must tell you. Your stepmother knows everything. She plans to tell Ikenna after the wedding. Adanna's heart stopped. Why? Because then he can't leave. Ada whispered. You'll be trapped forever. Adanna shook with fear. What do I do? Ada held her hands tightly. Run away tonight. Go to the city. You can start again. Adanna shook her head, slowly. No, I can't shame my family. I can't disgrace them. Ada hugged her tightly. Then be careful, my friend. Her wedding dress hung quietly in her room, beautiful but heavy, like chains. On her last night alone, Adanna whispered, to herself, maybe my heart made a mistake, maybe I'm being punished, but I will be strong for my baby. I must stay strong. She closed her eyes, ready to face her future. But deep down she felt something else coming. Something big. Something she could never imagine. A storm was on its way, and nothing would ever be the same again. Adanna woke up on her wedding day. She felt empty, trapped. Her stepmother walked into the room smiling brightly. Today is your day, she said, eyes glowing with pride. Don't ruin it. Adanna nodded silently. She wore her white dress slowly. It felt heavy on her shoulders. Beautiful, yet it felt like chains. Outside the drums were beating. People laughed. Children ran around happily. Adanna looked in the mirror. Her eyes looked sad. I must be brave, she whispered. Soon her stepmother called sharply. Hurry, they're waiting. Adanna walked outside. People smiled and clapped. Her heart was beating fast, but her face showed nothing. At the church, Ikenna stood waiting. His face was cold. He barely smiled. Adanna stood beside him. The priest spoke kindly. Today, we celebrate a blessed union. Adanna looked down. She couldn't breathe. Her stomach felt tight. Suddenly, a loud noise filled the air. Everyone turned quickly. 4 black jeeps drove fast toward the church, dust flying everywhere. What is this? Someone shouted. The crowd murmured nervously. People stood up. Eyes watched carefully. Doors opened. Men stepped out, dressed in sharp suits. They looked strong, serious. From the last jeep, one man stepped out slowly. He wore dark glasses and moved calmly. Adanna's heart stopped. She knew him instantly. It was the kind stranger from the city. What's happening? Adanna whispered, shaking. Her stepmother stared angrily. Who is that man? The stranger took off his glasses. He walked toward Adanna quietly. My name is Kunle Afolabi, he announced clearly. His voice was calm. I did not come here to cause trouble. The crowd was silent. Ikenna stepped forward angrily. What do you want here? Kunle didn't look away. He spoke softly, clearly. I am here to take responsibility. Adanna is carrying my child. The entire village gasped. Women covered their mouths. Men shook their heads. No! Adanna's stepmother screamed. She fell to the ground, fainting dramatically. Ikenna's face turned red. He threw down his hat. You betrayed me, Adanna. Adanna's eyes filled with tears. She shook her head, crying softly. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Kunle raised his hand gently. Stop. This is not her fault. It's mine. Ikenna stormed out. I will never forgive this disgrace. People whispered loudly. The elders shook their heads sadly. Kunle faced Adanna softly. I never meant to hurt you. Adanna looked at him, eyes red. Why did you come? Why now? Kunle spoke softly. Because my child deserves honesty. You deserve respect, the village women murmured. He speaks with honor, one said. Adanna shook, tears falling. I hid this secret. I felt ashamed. Forgive me. Kunle reached gently, but didn't touch her. There is nothing to forgive. Her stepmother woke suddenly, screaming, You've ruined everything! Ungrateful child! Adanna faced her bravely. No, Mama. I'm tired of hiding. Kunle stepped forward again. Listen, I didn't come here to take Adanna away. I came here to give her freedom. She must choose her own path." The village elder nodded, slowly. The man speaks wisely. Adanna felt dizzy. Her world was spinning. Kunle looked around calmly. "I promised to care for my child. Adanna owes me nothing. She is free." The crowd whispered softly, approvingly. "This is a true man," someone said. Adanna's stepmother shouted again. "No, she must marry Akenna." Adanna shook her head bravely. "No, Mama, no more." Her stepmother stared angrily, eyes filled with rage. "You are dead to me." Adanna lowered her head sadly, but she felt lighter now, strong. Kunle turned to leave quietly. "My people will help her if she needs anything." "Wait," Adanna called softly. Kunle stopped. "Thank you," she whispered. Kunle nodded gently. "Live your truth, Adanna. Never hide again." He walked away calmly, leaving Adanna standing in her white dress. The village stood still, confused and amazed. Nobody knew what to say. Ada ran forward, hugging Adanna tightly. "You are brave. I'm so proud of you." Adanna cried softly. "I feel free, but I am afraid." Ada smiled warmly. "Don't fear. You have shown courage." Slowly people began leaving, whispering quietly. The wedding was finished. The church stood empty. Adanna's stepmother walked away without looking back. Only Ada remained. She spoke softly, kindly. "What will you do now?" Adanna touched her, belly softly. "I will live openly. I will raise my child with love. No more secrets." Ada nodded warmly. "You have chosen well." Days passed. The village slowly returned to normal. But something changed forever. Women spoke openly about their feelings. Young people refused forced marriages. Adanna became a symbol of truth and courage. Weeks later, Adanna sat quietly under a tree. She felt calm now. She watched children playing. Kunle arrived quietly. He smiled gently. "I heard you are doing well," he said softly. Adanna nodded. "Thanks to you." Kunle shook his head. "No, thanks to your strength." They sat silently together. "What will happen now?" Adanna asked softly. Kunle looked kindly at her. "Whatever you decide." Adanna smiled gently. "I will teach again. I will raise our child, proudly, with truth." Kunle nodded warmly. "And I will help." Together they sat quietly. Not lovers, not strangers, just two people facing the future openly. After the wedding day drama, the village split into two sides. Some villagers whispered loudly, calling Adanna names. "She's a disgrace," women said as they walked by. "How could she shame her family like this?" Men shook their heads sadly, but others thought differently. "You're brave, Adanna," Ada always said proudly. "You spoke truth when everyone else kept secrets." At night, elders argued around fires. "She ruined tradition," shouted one elder. "No," said another firmly. "She freed herself." The arguments never stopped. Meanwhile, Kunle kept his promise quietly. He sent money for Adanna's school. He asked nothing in return. He built classrooms for the children. When news people came, he refused to speak. "I'm not important," he always said calmly. "The children are." Adanna slowly found strength again. Her belly grew bigger, but so did her courage. She returned to teaching, even when people whispered behind her back. One day, her stepmother came angrily to her school. "You've disgraced me enough," she shouted. Adanna spoke calmly this time. I only told the truth, Mama. You are no daughter of mine. Her stepmother hissed bitterly, walking away forever. Adanna watched her go sadly, but her heart felt stronger now. When the baby arrived, Ada stood by her side, smiling warmly. It's a boy, Ada said happily. Adanna held her child softly, tears in her eyes. You will be strong, she whispered. You will live freely, without fear. She named him Obi, meaning heart, because now her heart was free. Slowly, villagers watched Adanna raise Obi proudly. Some still whispered, but many began to smile softly when they saw her courage. One morning, a small boy ran to Adanna. My mother says you're brave, he said shyly. Adanna smiled gently. Tell your mother thank you. Time passed quickly. Obi began to walk, laugh, and speak. He grew strong and happy. Adanna taught, with joy again. One sunny day, exactly 1 year after that dramatic wedding day, Kunle came to the village quietly. Adanna saw him from afar. She felt her heart beat faster. It had been so long since they spoke face to face. Kunle smiled warmly as he approached. You look happy. She smiled back gently. Thanks to your kindness. Kunle shook his head softly. No, Adanna. It was always your strength. He looked at Obi playing happily. His eyes softened warmly. He is beautiful, like his mother. Adanna laughed softly. He has your eyes. Kunle sat down slowly. I've been thinking deeply, he began quietly. Adanna listened carefully. I came here not to be your hero, Kunle said gently. I came here as Obi's father, and as your friend. Adanna nodded slowly. You've honored that promise. Kunle paused, then asked simply, May I stay by your side now? Not as a billionaire, not as that stranger, just as the father of your child, and your friend? Adanna's heart felt warm. She looked at Kunle carefully. His face was honest. His eyes were calm, truthful. She took a deep breath. I never thought I'd trust again. Kunle nodded understandingly. You don't have to trust quickly, but let me earn your trust slowly. Adanna smiled softly. Then yes, Kunle. Stay. Not because I need you, but because you respected my story. Kunle's eyes brightened gently. Thank you, Adanna. Together they watched Obi play happily. Days turned into weeks. Kunle stayed close, helping quietly, respectfully. He never rushed. He always listened. Slowly, Adanna's heart opened again. Not because she needed saving, but because she saw kindness, respect, and truth in Kunle's actions. One peaceful evening, Ada came running, her eyes wide with excitement, but also fear. Adanna, she whispered urgently. Do you know who Kunle really is? Adanna frowned slightly. He's Obi's father, a good man. Ada glanced around nervously. Yes, but people say Kunle wasn't always rich. They say he disappeared for years and came back with wealth. But no one knows how. Adanna's heart skipped. What are you talking about? They say his family was cursed, Ada whispered. That's why he left the village long ago. And now, they wonder if he brought something back with him. That night, Adanna watched Kunle from a distance as he played with Obi. A shadow of doubt touched her heart, but she quickly pushed it away. Later, as they sat under the stars, Kunle noticed her silence. Is something troubling you? He asked softly. Adanna hesitated, then asked carefully. Kunle, where did your wealth truly come from? For the first time, Kunle's calm eyes darkened slightly. He looked away at the night sky, Some stories, he said quietly, are better left for the right moment. Adanna felt a chill, but Kunle's next words made her heart race. But when that moment comes, I hope you'll be ready to hear the truth. Her story had inspired the village. Mothers told daughters about Adanna, the brave teacher who chose truth over fear. But now, Adanna realized there were still secrets left to uncover, not hers, but Kunle's. And as the wind whispered through the trees that night, Adanna understood. This was not the end. It was only the beginning. Our past doesn't ruin us. Silence does. The truth, even when shameful, can plant seeds of redemption. And sometimes, a mistake is just the beginning of something sacred. My besties, if Adanna's courage moved you, don't keep this story to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more powerful African tales that honor truth, strength, and the freedom to choose your own path.